In this segment, I share the 2 types of projects that every business needs to focus on, and then the 3 obstacles that keep them from successfully completing these projects. Every business owner could make some extra money knowing a thing or two about sports. To be honest, I'm not a huge sports person. I don't even like sports. I don't even fully understand the game of football, and I don't really care to. But one thing I do know about all professional athletes is that they watch old tape. They watch tapes of themselves and their opponents. So since the sport I've played for the last 12 years is helping people solve their business problems, and I usually play my game by teaching in my private accelerators and private memberships, I go back and watch my old recordings often, just like athletes. I just want to get better and better. In fact, my team and I have a goal of solving 1,000 business problems a day. We call it the 1,000 Business Problem Project. I'll tell you more about that later. But I just watched a tape of me teaching to my Real Estate CEO School students. Real Estate CEO School is a year-long coaching session where I coach the students to leaving their 9-to-5 to transition to a full-time real estate business in just a year. And no, I'm not pitching the accelerator to you because we're way past capacity right now. And to be honest with you, I don't think I'm going to take on new students because I got some other projects that I want to work on right now. But I was just watching a tape where I taught about business systems and it is fire. And so I wanted to share this quick little segment with you because I think you can get a lot of value from it. In this segment, I share the 2 types of projects that every business needs to focus on, and then the 3 obstacles that keep them from successfully completing these projects. So since I'm about to show you a snippet of a class, keep in mind this is from a private session, and every time you hear one of these computer sounds, that's just because I said someone's name and I bleeped it out. And what happens in my accelerators, stay in my accelerators. And one other thing, if you get value from this video, I prepped a bundle of documents to help you get a little more order in your business so you can solve your business problems and so you can ultimately make more money. That's what it's all about, and helping more people, right? And so you can get access to those documents for free down below in the description. These bundles, I call them the new business roadmap. If your business is existing, you still want to download these bundles. I promise you it'll help you clear your head of a lot of problems that you have. So get them down below. So let's get right into these tapes. The 2 most important things that you want to strive for as an entrepreneur, CEO, business owner. The first one is action plan. Have a list of action plans, one-off projects that you got to hack your way through and be very clear about what they are, because sometimes we fumble through our action plans. And what do I mean by action plans? Your action plans are like, for instance, that, okay, I got to get minority certified by X date. Hey, we got to get this LLC up and running. These are action plans, one-off projects that help further your mission, right? So making sure that you have a list of them and setting deadlines for them once per quarter, once a year, but it takes a little work to get there. Some of you are a little bit more dynamic thinking, so you can juggle a lot of things. So some of you might be able to list them out, but for people like me, I need to know everything. I need to see all the pieces on the board before I can start. I can come up with a bunch of things, but I don't like feeling like I'm drowning in tasks. I don't. And I think that's a big issue. This could be a blocker. When you feel like you're drowning in tasks, or when you're like, there's so much to be done, it sometimes makes you have inaction. You freeze, you shut down. So when you start to develop a list of action plans, you at least can say, okay, it's a lot, but it's X amount a lot, and I can try to hack away at this. Then the next thing is you need to always be striving to have good systems. And this is why we work so much on the scheduling, because the scheduling is a system for how you want to run you. But within that, we need good systems and SOPs for the business. How we can input something to get a desired result. So if you got those 2 things, that's what fills your business, your day. Those 2 things. What are the one-off projects that we got to work on? And what time frame? When are these going to be done? How can I put this on my calendar? Versus the systems and the SOPs. How can I make sure that I put this into the system and then get that? It's very predictable. Both of these things take a lot of massaging and work. It's never going to be perfect. But these are the 2 things that you need. Okay, so let's back up before we even get there. Here are the obstacles that will keep you from doing it. I actually just thought of another one. 1, lack of clarity. We talked about this. I believe that your lack of clarity, and a lot of times when you have a lot of things, I wanted to wait until we got to this point. When you have a lot of responsibilities, especially I can relate as a single mom, it's overwhelming. And so you never get to find time to work on the business, like making it all make sense. We're just hacking through stuff. And what happens is that's when you end up on the treadmill, the hamster wheel, because you are so addicted to hacking through stuff that you can't see it no other way. And so it's going to require you to take some time away from hacking through stuff. Baby boy going to have to spend a couple days getting babysat by, I don't know, YouTube Kids, because I don't like my kid watching YouTube Kids. But sometimes you got to be like, for instance, over the weekend, I had to do a whole bunch of business development stuff. I love my kid. I love spending time with him. But I had to tell my dad, Dad, please, can you just take him? I just need this weekend. Because this is what's going to set me up so that I'm not on the hamster wheel. Because this ain't it, right? So we got to take some time. Clarity takes effort, okay? Move on to number 2. The next obstacle, you know you want something. We talked about this at dinner, but I have better words to describe this. You are a go-getter. You know that when you put your mind to something, that you can do anything. You have been so successful at being excellent at everything, especially working out. That's the hardest thing, right? Like getting your body right. That's the hardest thing. You have been so successful at achieving your goals that you are not as conscious as you should be about the things that lead up to getting the goal. You get overconfident. And so you start developing this almost like a God complex. I do anything I put my mind to. I say I'm gonna do it, I write it down, it's gonna get done. That's all I gotta do. And then you look up, it ain't get done. You look up, it ain't get done. Then you look in the mirror and be like, ooh, I did that. This thing don't know what it's doing. It's me. And then you look up, it ain't get done. Then you look over here in this other area in your business, and you're like, or in your life, and you're like, I'm an ultimate manifester. And then you start getting frustrated in this one area. And then what happens is it don't happen. The reason that it's not happening is because you don't realize that you don't have a motivating purpose. You know you want it, but the reality is you don't want it bad enough to run through walls. But I'm going to show you how to get there. Like, hey, I don't care what y'all are doing. I'm doing this. I don't care how many brunches it is. I'm doing this because there is a strong purpose tied to it. And sometimes we got to play mind games with ourselves to get there. Okay, let's talk about the blockers, the other blockers. And I think this might be you. Okay, I said definitely. All right. This might be you. And I don't know which one it is. Faith and belief, right? Here's the thing, right? Faith is in your heart. Belief is in your mind. Sometimes we got faith, and I don't want to get too churchy on you, but faith can do a lot for you. Don't get it twisted. But faith is not enough to manifest in your life what you see up here. You have to have faith and belief. Your eye has to be single. So sometimes we can know something in our heart, but our brain be like, no, you can't do that. And the faith in your heart is what saves you and makes you not a bad person. And makes you like still do things towards it and work really hard towards it. But the lack of belief up here is what blocks it. I'm not saying that this is you, because I don't know which one it is. So sometimes we got to do a little bit of work to get our belief up here. Now, how do you know that it's not the belief, right? If you don't have enough belief. The scripture says, out of our mouth, our mouth speaks the abundance of the heart. I just paraphrase it. You have to start being really, really mindful of what you say and listen. to what you say. And if you find yourself saying things that are not positive in your situation, this means there's a belief issue. Right? And we all do it, right? Like, I'm going to give a real simple example. You walk outside, you're a little bummy that day, and then somebody be like, oh, you look beautiful. And we be like, I look a mess. We know in our hearts we're beautiful, but our head is telling us we look a mess. Right? Because this is what we saw, whatever we saw. All right, I'll move on to the next one. We can come back to any of these if you want. The next one is imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome is just another word for the spirit of fear. The spirit of fear is not the same as fear, because we are supposed to fear God. You are supposed to fear falling off of a ledge. But walking around with a spirit of fear, also, sometimes it can show up as an anxiety. Most of the time, it shows up as imposter syndrome. No matter how good you got going on, no matter how many acres your mom gives you to manage, you still don't see it. And you know it's your inheritance, you still don't see it as your own. No matter how many old folks you got in the place, you still don't really see yourself as an investor. That is the spirit of fear. Now, I'm going to take a step further. The scripture says, for God did not give us the spirit of fear. So first of all, the spirit of fear came from somewhere. Something happened and you believed it. For God did not give us the spirit of fear. He gave us the spirit of power, love, self-discipline. Sometimes it's translated, self-discipline is a sound mind, a sober mind. That's a whole nother conversation about those translations. So if you have a spirit of fear, the way to work on that is you replace that with the belief that you have power, which in the scripture is, the word is dynamos or something like that. It means explosive action, love, and a sober mind. The spirit of fear is not a sober mind. You are drunk. Okay, the next one, guilt, shame. You got guilt about something that happened. You have shame for something that happened to you. We can talk all day about that, about this one. But I'm just going to say this. If you got some type of guilt or shame about something in this process, something that happened, something in this process about leaving a job, in the process of about getting another home, another property. And I say home because I'm thinking about you in the old folks home, right? Something didn't go right. You might not have did something to your standards, something. Somebody did something to the project. You scared that it might happen again. All the things. All I'm going to say is, it ain't your fault. We could talk about this for weeks, guilt and shame. And then the last one is a bad relationship with money. This is another blocker. One of the things that was revealed to me as of lately is, just hopefully I can deliver this. This is going to trip you out. Scripture says not to love money, or don't serve mammon. Man cannot serve two gods. He's going to love the one and hate the other. When you're talking about money, you can't love money and God. Consumerism, if anybody's struggling with consumerism, is a form of money worship. You're becoming one with the money. That's really what worship is. When you become one with God, we usually think about God. When you become one with the item, you think about the item so much. You attach it to your identity. Consumerism is a bad relationship with money when you're spending everything. That is a form of money worship. Okay, we can talk about that if anybody wants to talk about it. But these are some of the blockers that we got to work on before we really start getting some clarity in our business. I don't want to say before. You can work on it simultaneously, but we have to identify it first. Because different areas of this process that I'm going to share with you guys, you're going to like hyper focus on once you know this is what I want to work on. We could do a whole Bible study session on specific things, but I want to make sure we keep this as mainly business as possible. There are certain things that you can do if you know that you are being held back spiritually, things that you could do spiritually for each of these, but you got to figure out what it is. Okay. Let's move on to the I know that was hot fire flames. Yes, it was. So don't forget, I have a bundle of documents that I give to a lot of my accelerator students and just various teaching programs that I do. So get access to these documents for free down below, and make sure you like and subscribe to this channel. And tell your friends about your new business wifey, okay? Your new business wifey, Nicole Purvy. Tell your friend, share with a friend. And all right, problem solvers, until next time, have an amazing day.